So here's part 2 of my hoist installation. I got it pretty well good and mounted. I just need to get a few more bolts lined up right, but for the most part everything's where it should be. Didn't really have any other problems putting the body on. The only other spot I had a little problem with, I got a foot drop with, is right above the stop there. Have to grind off some weld just so that the body will sit down flat and flush. Other than that, this runs up and down good. The only thing I wish I got on this hoist that I didn't think of was a gravity down. I don't really like having power down with a hoist for the most part, just because it's not necessary, and plus it comes down pretty quick. But ultimately everything went together pretty good. I took off my spare tire carrier so I can get my I got a little MEP 531A I want to put up there, so I've got some power with me when I'm working. Just have to reroute some of those air hoses so I can use my cab air suspension again. I'm going to try to plumb those into the parking brake system so that when the parking brake is released, that will charge the air for the airbags, and then when that's disconnected, or when you have your parking brake applied, then that will drain the air out. Just a thought, something I would kind of thought would be neat. I will show you. I'm not sure if you can see it up. I bent this hinge, and how I managed to do that is when I was putting my bolts on, a nut had gotten wedged right in here. You can see right where the circle was left, and since there's a pressure down, and since the body's heavy enough, it pushed it and tweaked it. Good to know my welds held, but the steel took the brunt of that one. So maybe the only other thing I would think about doing is perhaps welding like a 1/4 inch or 1/2 inch piece here, pick up the hinge a little bit so that it doesn't rest completely on the frame. It can rest on a couple little bump stops you can place down through the way. But other than that, everything went together, I guess, as good as it could, because really no one else has anything documented as to how to do these. So hopefully this kind of helps you guys, anyone that had a plan for wanting to do this to theirs. You know, I think it turned out pretty good. I think it was my first hoist installation, and gave me a good excuse to go out and buy a new welder and plasma cutter. I'm all for that anytime I can buy new tools. So it's starting to rain out now, so I'm just gonna let this go. Just wanted to give you guys a glimpse of it when it's actually outside and you actually see it. And one other thing I did want to show, and I'll go start the truck real quick, is just so you can hear it with a straight pipe on it. It's not a whole lot louder in the cab. I wouldn't say it's really louder, but you do hear the turbo a lot more, especially when you let off the throttle, or if you're next to a building or other cars and the exhaust is pointed towards them, then you can definitely hear a little bit more of a nicer sound. It's a straight pipe diesel sound. We all know what that sounds like. Well, most of us do. So I'll get this started real quick so you can hear it. I'll get a video of it running down the road sometime. I'll have one of my kids take a video of it so you can kind of hear it under load. But other than that, any questions or you need to ask me, you know, anything, just feel free to. I'd like to help out anyone else the best I can. So thanks again, guys.